AJ Reilly with Eric Vincent for
Yeah.
your favorite Detroit sports show, Beyond the Box. We are ready to go. We have 3 live shows left before the NFL draft. Coming at you tonight, Thursday, next Monday, and then we're live for the draft next Thursday. We'll talk about that in a little bit. It's been a crazy day in the NFL world with a
Oh yeah.
massive contract getting signed. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to also, like we have been doing, breaking down our top 5 prospects for the Lions at number 6. Tonight is all about Tyree Wilson, the edge out of Texas Tech. So we are going to
Yes.
get to all of that and more. Before we get to it, though, I want to remind you that there are super stickers and super chat right there where you're watching. The fun and interactive way for you to engage with us here on Beyond the Box. So send messages and stickers that stand out from the crowd while supporting the show. And also down below, you're going to see QR codes for gearupdetroit.shop. Make sure you click on those and check those out so you can come with the freshest swag to your draft party, which will be our draft party. We guarantee it in 2 Thursdays. All right.
Yes.
So listen, we got Jalen Hurts and his contract. We've got the impact that has on the Lions. And we got Tyree Wilson at number 6. Maybe,
Mm.
maybe not. You ready to go, Eric?
Let's do it, baby. Game time.
Let's get after it. Eric, before we get started tonight, I do want to give a shout out to Brady and William. We know them from a colleague of ours here at DSM. But, boys, we wanted to say thanks for
Yeah.
watching Beyond the Box, your favorite
What up,
Detroit sports
though?
show. We guarantee it. We guarantee it's your favorite. And we want to know from you two, do you like Tyree Wilson at number 6?
Oof.
Who do you think the Lions should take? You guys let us know because we will respond to your comments down below and throw them up on the screen just like we have here for Tiger Don. Eric, today,
Yeah.
news
Yes.
broke that your boy, and I mean, truthfully, all season last season, I was on the Philadelphia bandwagon. Okay. I was.
just,
I was. I
just
will
gave up on
readily
them
admit that. I did not.
for
I did.
no reason.
I
You gave up on them
know.
for
I
no
know.
reason.
I
You were the
know.
whole.
When I take a stand, I should stay on that stand instead of backing out, but I didn't. And so their quarterback, the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts, signed a 5-year, $255 million contract to be the franchise quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. 179.3 of that is guaranteed money.
Big
That's
money.
$51 million a year.
Jalen, can I get a loan, bruh? Can I get a loan,
Start
please?
his own
I'm trying to
bank.
get to work in the morning, bro. Let me hold $20. Come on.
Okay, so here's what we want to do. We want to get everybody's initial thoughts on this contract. Is it a good contract? Is it a bad contract? Should you ever pay anybody that much money? Okay, that's where it's starting to get astronomical at this point.
Yeah.
And listen, I come from the
It is.
baseball world, which is already astronomical.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
I get that. It's already astronomical. This I don't think it's great for Jalen. And you should sign the contract when they offer you a contract like that. I have no hate towards Jalen. I don't think this is a good thing, though. But I want your thoughts first.
Okay. To me, I feel like this is the only move that they had on the table. They don't have a choice. Jalen Hurts is their franchise quarterback. You just got off of Carson Wentz. You thought he was going to be the guy, picking him number 2 overall in Jared Goff's draft class. That didn't work out. And Hurts has now surpassed everything he's done at this point. I mean, Jalen Hurts has basically become the glue that keeps the dynamics of this offense together. That offensive line, that running game that seems to have come alive with him in the backfield. The receivers now adding AJ Brown, an explosive addition and a breakout with Devonta Smith. The weapons and the pieces are all coming together, and they're made better because of Jalen Hurts. Is it a lot of money? Sure, but it takes money to win in the NFL. And if you need, or if you want, or if you're in a position to land or have and keep a franchise top 5 quarterback, you do what you can to keep them. You don't let them walk outside the door, Baltimore. But we'll talk about that later. The point is, you're not supposed to let your superstar franchise pieces go. Hurts deserved that bag, and I'm happy to see him get it. I absolutely am.
Again, I have no problem with Jalen signing the contract. Like, dude earned it. You can believe he earned it or didn't earn it, whatever. They offered him the contract, so they think that he earned it, right?
Of course.
It just sets the precedent. Like, I feel like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth again, which I technically am, but I'm always on the side of the players getting paid,
Of
right?
course. Me
Always. Like,
too.
when MLB was in their lockout, I was like, the owners are the problem, because the owners were the problem.
Yes.
The owners are the problem in Baltimore. We know this, okay?
Yes.
It's just now I'm starting to think, oh my gosh, here we go. Because in 2 years, we have a quarterback to pay. What's that number going to be? And what's that impact going to be on our team? So that's
Yeah.
where I get hesitant, right? And we'll dive into that. And we want to know, like, what do you think about the Lions paying their current quarterback? The problem, though, it's so much money. And it's so much money tied up
You
into
cheap.
one person. I,
You cheap.
I maybe, but
You're cheap.
okay, there's probably truth to that. But I mean, this is monopoly money. You and I have never even probably dreamt. Like, if you like, imagine what right now for Jalen Hurts looks like, as opposed to even 9 o'clock this morning, when he knows that for the next 5 years, he has $179.3 million coming his way.
Yep. I
Like,
tried to dream of.
that's
I tried
like,
to. Yeah. No. Yeah.
but I don't know. I can't fathom it, so I think it's hard to put into words. I just I know economically, as far as a team building standpoint goes, this cannot be good for the future of the franchise.
I
Now we
mean,
go ahead.
possibly. Yeah. I mean, it all depends on where they're operating from, and they just got to the Super Bowl. They want to maximize their window of trying to remain in Super Bowl contention, and you have to pay your quarterback to make sure that he's gonna be the centerpiece of them contending. I love this point that Truth Teller is saying right here. You mean next year? If we've talked about this before, we'll probably expand on it a little bit more. But just for now, yes, this is the, if I'm not mistaken, the highest deal in NFL history, if I'm not mistaken. And like, listen, it's all based on what a team is willing to pay you. And
It is.
yes, I understand it's a lot of money, but for me, it has to come from a place where they're trying to secure their window of winning. You can't
Sure.
be cheap if you're on the brink of contending. You just can't be. It's not, that's really a law. You can't do it.
It always goes back to, though, and we've talked about this before, it's not necessarily the dollar amount, and I'd have to look at I haven't really looked as far as, like, the actual percentage of the cap, because we don't know what the percentage of that cap is going to be, because the percentage of the cap that is what matters most for your team building, right? If the
Mm-hmm.
cap shoots up and $51 million to Jalen Hurts is only 10% of the cap, well, okay, that's not a bad thing. Now, I'm not a math
Right.
guy. That would make the cap, I think, astronomical, and it's not going to get there. It's going to be more
Yeah.
like a 23% hit of the cap.
Right.
But Mahomes is the first quarterback since 2012 to have that high of a cap hit. He's
Mm-hmm.
at like 23% and win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Every other quarterback that's won a Super Bowl since like 2010 or 2013 has been under 13% of the cap hit of their team. So that's why it makes me like turn in my chair a little bit, right? Because you want to build a sustained winner. You want to lock up the talent when you have the talent. And I think locking up a quarterback is a good thing to lock up. But does Hurts concern you at all?
No, especially where the value of the position is rising in this point. So back then, you were able to get off with having a Trent Dilfer, but if you're running with Jamal Lewis in the back, you'll be fine. And the Baltimore Ravens defense, thanks Dre Johnson, appreciate that. If you have that stability set up, then you're in a position where you don't have to pay a quarterback a lot. And you're seeing quarterbacks not just throw 50 times, but also run 15 to 20 times. So, like, I don't know if people are questioning the ability for, Jalen Hurts to throw. I think he's solved that, but I think his dynamic in being able to run and pass and be the leader that Carson Wentz wasn't when he was just here. I never heard of a team building a shrine for a backup, but that happened when Carson Wentz was just here for Nick Foles. They ain't doing that for Jalen Hurts. He's the man there, and you have to make sure he's secure. And they did it quick in that franchise. So I don't think it's a problem at all. I think they did the right thing with Philly.
I'm leaning that way the more I look into the numbers, though I hesitate still because the whole running aspect, it does make you nervous. Now, we've talked, right? Tyrann Mathieu spoke out for Lamar and said, listen, the dude got
Yeah.
hurt standing in the pocket. He's never gotten hit hard when he runs the ball, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that makes me a little nervous because the NFL is it's literally a day-to-day business, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, Hurts did perform last year. And based on
sure.
what he did last year, took a team to a Super Bowl, which is more than Lamar has ever done.
Yep.
He did earn it. I mean, I look at Football Outsiders. I like looking at the statistics, right? So I'm going to give a few to you. DVAR, right? The value added by a quarterback, he's top 10.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
DVOA, his impact added to the team, top 10 again, right? So he is a top 10 quarterback getting paid like a top 5 quarterback, top 3 quarterback, really. Maybe it was a little too much, but at the end of the day, he took what the Philadelphia Eagles were willing to pay him, and you can't blame the guy.
And real quick, before we move too quick to the next nugget, one of my favorite things about this is he made this happen with an all-female management team. This is the first time they've had that in NFL history. The biggest deal in NFL history was put together by an all-female management team. Yeah. That's groundbreaking stuff. Shout out to Jalen Hurts for that.
Yeah. So the natural question then for a Detroit sports show, right, is what Truth Teller hits on right here.
Truth Teller.
Goff's number only goes up if he continues to play well.
Yep.
Now, Truth Teller did also bring this up earlier, right? He said we only had to pay Goff next year, which is not technically true. He has a lower dead cap hit if we get rid of him before 2025. Or 2024, I'm 24? Sorry. Yeah. Okay. However, he's still under contract for that year. Now, will he hold out? That's possible, maybe.
Okay.
But also maybe not. Because at that point, he will be 31 years old. And so if his number is going up, and I mean, the scenario's laid out here, and we've talked about it often. They're the favorites to win the division. They're the fourth best odds to win the NFC itself. And I think last show we doggone guaranteed that they were going to the Super Bowl because we were on some Kool-Aid last week or something. I don't know. But at the same time, that brings this point up, right? Truth Teller is correct. That number would be north of 45. You're only paying him 50 over the next 2 years.
Yep.
This is the impact. And the very stern hesitation that I have with these types of numbers being thrown out.
Yep.
It makes you
cringe.
Swallow a little harder.
Makes me cringe.
You're like,
yeah, a little bit. I think, unfortunately, though, and I'll shoot the Lions some bail this. And again, I'm not for paying Goff that kind of money. They're setting themselves up in a position where I think maybe it would be okay. Because if you look at the acquisitions that they've done in free agency, we haven't seen Brad Holmes really take a splash yet on anybody. He hasn't paid anybody super mega million type deal. Like if Cam Sutton is the most expensive deal he's done so far, he's as cheap as you. So I don't think it would be a position where if
Me?
you were to pay him the 50 million, yeah, you absolutely you are cheap. We've learned
Taking
that today.
shots for no reason here. What did I do to
So
you?
if he keeps taking advantage of these 1 year
Okay.
option deals, then it makes paying that kind of a tab a little less harmful, especially if he keeps the momentum that he's built through the NFL draft as well. So again, I'm not a fan of paying him, but it is getting to a point where he's gonna command a deal kind of close to whatever Hurts just got, to whatever Burrow might get. It's not out the window.
No,
It's really not.
I don't think it is though. I
Why?
I do think it's out the window actually that he would get what they're getting. We've had this
Why?
discussion. Listen, Goff had a great year in 2022. He's poised to have another good year in 2023. But is he in the same echelon as Pat Mahomes, Jalen
No,
Hurts, Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert?
no.
He's not. And the reason why he's not is one simple thing. And I don't want to overstate this. He's going to be 31 years old. That's not prime
Yeah.
NFL time. It's not. Unless
No,
you're
it's
Tom
been
Brady, but he's not Tom Brady.
no, he's not. He's
He's
not.
also not Peyton Manning or Drew Brees, who also were pretty good in their 30s. He's not.
No, he's not.
So I'm not coming for anybody. I'm okay with him being the quarterback for the next 2 years. I have no problem with that. And in fact, would argue, other than some massive move like we've talked about that is outside of reality, he gives us the best chance to win right now.
He does.
But does he at 31? To a massive contract. See, again, he doesn't. If Jared
No,
Goff
I don't
takes a
think so.
team-friendly contract that is less than 13% of the salary cap, not Mahomes' number of 23, not whatever Jalen Hurts is going to be, then an extension is acceptable. But is that even possible? I
Right.
really don't think it is.
It might not be. But it's gonna have to come to a point where they're gonna have to answer the question, because we've seen it from the front office, the coaching staff, like fans, us, like we've all where everyone, it seems like, is saying the same thing. People have had differences in terms of drafting a quarterback, going after Lamar. I'll get to that in a second, because he just played his first season. You don't have to worry about locking him up yet. No, you don't. Relax, man.
Oh, wait. I
But
thought
for
you were an
me,
Aiden fan.
I
That's
love
what you told.
Aiden. Give him the bag when he wants, but you don't need to worry about locking him up after his first season.
But I'm a fan. Oh, yeah.
9-7, what up? No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Well, my point is,
Unless he has to pay you because he's the cheap
no,
one.
that's you. That's you. I'm all for players getting paid.
I didn't say
you,
it.
Mr.
It wasn't
Cheapskate.
me. It wasn't me. You're the one that's like, no.
At a certain point, the Lions are gonna have to stand up for what they're saying, and like fans as well, because from what I've seen, and put in the chat if y'all agree or disagree, I have not seen anybody say they'd be willing to pay Jared Goff $50 million. I have not seen anyone say they'd be willing to pay him like an elite quarterback. I've seen people speak to him and maybe be their franchise or future guy. I've seen people say that he's performed like an elite quarterback, but if you don't pay him like it, it's the same thing with Lamar. Like, Baltimore can say, oh, we love Lamar, we'd love to have him back, but if you don't pay him and give him that commitment, those words don't mean anything. So let's see if the Lions are truly behind what they say. Are they going to pay him, or are they going to draft his replacement soon? I don't know.
It's the old adage, right? Put your money where your mouth is.
Where your mouth is. Yeah.
And look, at the end of the day, it's not going to get solved tonight. People, I agree with you. I don't think people are willing to go to that number of 50.
No.
I will again reiterate, if he wants to take a team-friendly extension to stay here, does he have to? No, because again, I'm on the player's side. But not when it comes to the Lions. I want the Lions to be as successful for as long as they can. I'm not paying him $50 million. I'm not even paying him $40 million a year, to be honest with you.
I'm totally with you. I would not want to pay that. Like you said, unless you have a Mahomes, I don't want to say Aaron Rodgers, but sometimes that 30th leg could be a prime if you're one of those elite guys. He's not. He doesn't seem like a player that's going to get better as he ages. So I wouldn't want to pay him that type of money either. No.
So I don't know. It's the impact is there. We know that the impact from this contract that
Huge.
Jalen Hurts just signed
Yep.
is going to impact the Lions. It's going to actually affect the Bengals and the Chargers more than it's going to affect the Lions.
I
But it
agree.
is going to be in play for the Lions. And don't be fooled by people that say, oh, it's not in play. It's 100% in play
For sure.
because we don't know what Goff is thinking. If Goff
Mhm.
loves it here, then I feel like a $10 million a year raise or even maybe 15, get him to 35. Okay, that's acceptable for 2-3 years, right?
Yeah, you can tolerate that.
But this contract impacts the next 2 years
For sure.
and the thinking of the Detroit Lions over those next 2 years because those numbers, that number that we read, $255 million over 5 years for Jalen Hurts, 179.3 million guaranteed, which is 51 million per year, highest average annual value of any contract ever signed in the NFL. That makes Burrow's number higher. That makes Justin Herbert's number higher.
Hmm.
And by influence is also going to make Jared Goff's number potentially higher.
And I want to see what that debate's gonna look like. Again, at least what we
I
see
do
from
too.
Burrow and Herbert, they've showed the ability to play off script. They showed the ability to, be able to take poundings and continue to play. Like Herbert played half the season with bruised ribs. Like we know what Joe Burrow's situation is like with his offensive line. He ain't
Yep,
got protection
for sure.
since he's been a pro. So Goff, he hasn't shown again. I'm not saying he can't do that, but we have not seen that yet. If you go pay that kind of a ticket to keep him, I don't know if it's worth that kind of money, man. I don't think it is, honestly. I don't even know if it's not.
It's time to turn the page because
Let's
we're
do it.
not settling Jared Goff's contract tonight. And that's okay.
It's okay. We just know you're
Jalen
cheap.
Hurts
That's
got
all
his
we've learned
bag.
today.
Congratulations. We need to turn our attention to something that is more pressing, that's going to directly impact the Lions, and that is the NFL draft. If you are as excited about the NFL draft as we are, well, we have a treat for you.
We really do, y'all. Trust me. Look, join us for our exclusive 2023 NFL Draft Live Show where your favorite analyst, Cheapskate AJ, yours truly, and Dylan will be breaking down each first round pick as it happens. That's right. We'll be reacting to all the drama, surprises, and jaw dropping moments of this coming NFL draft.
And we want you to be a part of that action. We want you to share your thoughts, your reactions, your predictions to the picks that are coming up live in the comments. And we, your favorite host, me, AJ, not the cheapskate, Eric, Aiden Hutchinson's worst fan, will be reacting live to them when you drop them. So it's a great chance to engage with fellow Lions fans and your two favorite Detroit sports hosts during the first round of the NFL draft.
All this false propaganda. Mark your calendars for the 2023 NFL Draft Live Show, April 27th. April 27th, that's in 10 days. Make sure you check it out. Hosted by Detroit Sports Nation. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Do it right now. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single moment of this epic NFL draft.
We will see you there. And as always, go Lions. Now, before we get into Tyree Wilson, I do want to say what's up to Colt James because he
What up,
said,
Colt?
what's up to
What's
us?
happening?
Welcome to the show. Hopefully,
Appreciate you.
you're ready to talk about some Tyree Wilson because we are ready to talk about Tyree Wilson. Like we've done from Just Bombs production, we are going to get Tyree Wilson's highlights up here. Again, we recognize that they are highlights, okay? But we want to react to them because we like reacting to awesome football plays. So we're going to throw this up, Eric. Let's talk about Tyree Wilson. What do you like about Tyree Wilson as a potential pick at number 6?
The thing that stands out, obviously, are his measurables: 6'6", 275. If I'm not mistaken, that's just 10 pounds heavier than Aiden Hutchinson, who's also
Yeah,
a monster on the other side. So having that potentially on your defensive line to be able to wear down opposing O lines would be an amazing benefit to have. I think that's the immediate thing that kind of stands out about him. Uses a lot of his power, a lot of bull rush, but he's kind of a little more elusive than people realize with his feet,
he's
and he's a
massive.
sure wrap up tackler too, and a massive body. So I think that presents a huge opportunity for this Detroit Lions defense if he were to be here.
So I'm watching, and like everything that I'm reading about this guy is 100% correct, right? He can make tackles that you wouldn't assume he can make because of how long he is.
Yeah,
But that first step, he's like a freight train in a
yeah,
lot of ways. He's not going to beat anybody off the ball. But when he builds up enough speed, he can be destructive. Um, so hopefully they can find a way to kind of build that athleticism a little bit because he's clearly an athletic guy, right? But
hmm
even there, right, he had to take the rush lane up to get the guy out of position to cut back underneath him.
right,
He's going to be playing against a lot more athletic tackles
yep,
that could hinder that potential. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
It's not that I don't like him. I do like him. I love his size. But and I mean, he could even put on a few pounds and go inside and
yeah,
be a terror in a 3 technique.
absolutely,
I,
absolutely.
this is nice though. I mean, it's really nice.
Yeah, he will give you. You just said it. He will give you an immediate ability to play
Oh, and he hit
with
the gritty.
all over the defensive line, and he can do the gritty. You know, you're gonna need that with Billy Jean and Hutch.
When he sacks Kirk Cameron, he gritties and points at Justin Jefferson. Whew, I'll
Kirk
take that.
Cousins. Yeah, I got you.
Who'd I say?
You said Kirk Cameron, but it's okay. We don't care
Well,
about
I
him.
was watching Full
It's
House
okay.
earlier with my kids.
There you
That's
go.
what
That's
ended up
fine.
happening. My bad. Kirk
It's
Cousins,
fine.
who
That's
Kirk
okay.
Cameron may be a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. So
Right. No, he
because ensuring, Kirk
yeah,
Cameron, where the
no.
heck did that come from? God bless. This guy can be a game wrecker. I mean, just the sheer. I mean, he's bigger than just about every offensive lineman out there.
Mm-hmm.
He gets in a quarterback's face. That quarterback doesn't
Look at
stand
that.
a chance
Yeah.
at a stand-up technique. Okay, good footwork. Got inside the block. Kept contained. Beautiful run
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah. Yeah. Those doubles that
That's
they
really
put on
nice.
Aiden are gonna have to be spread out. They're not gonna be able to double Hayden if you have a big guy like that on the other side.
Or they're going to be
Just
able to double Aiden and
let him
trust
eat.
that their left tackle, who they have invested in, can handle this guy. But this guy's a force.
Super long arms. You talked about it before. He's
Yeah,
got a long reach, be
massive
able to
wingspan.
get to the ball, be able to knock it out of quarterback's hands throwing up. I want to see more batted balls at the line as well. If you can't get to the quarterback, fine, but can you get your hands up and make some swats? I think he can make that happen for sure too.
Drop your guys' comments in here what you like about Tyree Wilson. I know Steve O already has. We will get to them as soon as the video's over. I just don't want to cover Eric's face with the comments because I don't think he would appreciate that too much.
Yeah.
Um, if I was on the lower screen, it'd probably be a benefit to the show, but that's okay. We won't go there. Cover my bald head. Um, there's some similarities, and I want to get to the player comps because I found two really interesting player comps to him
Okay.
that I think will pique a lot of interest in people.
Love a
Um,
good comp.
yeah, I
Okay.
love a good comp too. I
Yeah.
mean, even if I throw out some bad ones sometimes, like you let me know about,
Of
um,
course.
it's okay. All right, so we are going to get to some of these comments here. So let's go to we'll go in order here. Colt James says, what's your pick number 6 prediction right now?
I ain't gonna lie. I kind of feel like he's gonna be that option. I, I don't want them to see. This is what I'm scared of. I won't mind drafting him, but if you draft him with Jalen Carter available on the board, I'm gonna have a problem. I'm gonna be pretty upset in that regard. I
Maybe.
think Wilson has high upside. I'm with Steve O thinking he has great ceiling in terms
Yep.
of the players in his draft, but I don't want to see him drafted ahead of Jalen Carter. I just don't want to see that.
Maybe. And I know we've been like Anderson Carter 1A, 1B, but the
Yeah,
closer we're getting to the draft, and after seeing that and reading it and like seeing him on a football field, watching him play, I understand it was a highlight tape, but I'm not watching the highlights. I'm literally watching the football player.
right.
My thought process of maybe adding a few pounds to him, muscle poundage, whatever, and sliding him inside may make him more effective.
It could be,
One,
yeah.
because he's not going against tackles. Two, because his arms are up in the passing lanes.
Right.
Um, that, mm,
He'd be more.
I don't
He'd
know.
be a super athlete in that position too.
He'd
Yeah.
be a great athlete in that position. Let me answer Colt James's question by my pick 6 prediction right now is that they don't make pick number 6. I think Brad
Ooh.
finds a way to trade up to number 3 and land Anderson.
Hey, there it is.
That's going to be my prediction right now. Sitting in this seat right now, it may change by Thursday. Who knows? But right now, my pick prediction is there's one player on the board, and his name's Will Anderson. You trade up to get him, unless you are Steve O, who believes that Wilson has the highest ceiling of any player in this draft, which sounds like Steve O would be very comfortable at just standing pat and letting Tyree Wilson fall to 6. Well, fall is not really the right word, even though there have been some reports that there are teams that would take Wilson over Anderson. So now the fall discussion comes in.
Yeah. I don't know about all that. I think
I don't know about all that.
I can't co-sign that one.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah. Both of those guys are just two completely different players. They change how you would have to play completely. Like you can't put Will
100%.
Anderson inside. Like he's more of a speed guy who has some power.
He's more of a stand-up end that's gonna
for sure.
But he's technically sound. He's going
Yes.
to stop the run. He's going to create havoc in the backfield on a pass rush. Like I would say Wilson's more raw. I mean, listen, this is a guy that played inside linebacker and outside linebacker in college.
That's crazy.
Was at Texas A&M and had some pretty not so great years. Then went to Texas Tech. He's a redshirt senior, so he's a little bit older. Like he has position versatility. We know this.
Right.
And to Steve O's point here, and I'll get to Trutella here in a minute, like his frame does, like I agree with this. Making him 290, adding about 15 pounds of weight, and potentially seeing what the inside Tyree Wilson looks like, you could have something there.
Yeah.
Very well could have something there. Trutella did ask this during the highlights. Does he remind you of Trey Flowers? And then he followed that up by saying Trey Flowers on the Patriots. I mean, not Trey Flowers on the line.
That's good job.
Thank you for the clarification, Trutella, because we did need that. Let me give you the comps that I found.
Yeah, let me hear
and then we can like kind of throw this out there.
Mm-hmm.
NFL.com, Lance Zierlein compares him to Ezekiel Ansah, somebody we know well.
Oh gosh, I don't like that at all.
Ziggy,
don't like.
Why not?
Don't like that. Ziggy was okay, man.
He was hurt often.
Yeah,
but he was good when he played.
Yeah, and then he would stat pad too. Like he literally would go like through 3 weeks, no sacks. He'd get hurt for the next 4, and somehow would end up with 10 sacks at the end of the year.
Can we stop with all this criticism of stat padding? What do we expect athletes to do when they're playing a game?
Win.
We expect them to perform. So why do we get so mad when they pat their stats? Like,
because they don't do it when we want them to do it. That's why. And that's what Ziggy Ansah did.
How do you pad stats as a defensive end?
Fine. You know what? You don't like that term.
I don't like that term.
That's unnecessary production.
I can understand it with like a quarterback who's like just slinging the ball against a prevent defense. Like I can understand that criticism a little bit. I hate it when you make it a marker for somebody like a Matt Stafford when he was here in Detroit, or like if people were to criticize, maybe I have done so unfairly, Jared Goff for some of his performances, like Seattle and Carolina. Like, their quarterbacks trying to lead a comeback, they have to throw the ball. That's going to pad their stats. Can we just shut up with that, please?
No, I'm not
I wasn't
going
telling
to.
you to shut up. I'm
I
just
would
saying,
keep
as a
trumping
whole,
that.
as a sports
Oh,
fan
you mean it's
community, can we just shut up about padding stats? Like, general PSA, padding stats is no longer a thing. You will be excommunicated from the community if you use it as a criticism. This has all been signed off on, okay?
By AJ Reilly. In the words of
The
Shannon Sharp,
commissioner of
yes.
the
So
sports fan community.
In the words
The
of Shannon
Vince
Sharp,
McMahon in your world, Eric.
oh, gross. Oh,
I knew
I'm
you'd
about to
hate that.
leave. I'm about to go home. Get
I'm
out of here,
kidding.
bro. I
I'm
can't
kidding.
believe this. Who are
But
the other comps? Give me the other
yeah.
ones.
So the other comp that I found, I told you there was 2. It's not other comps, it's singular. The other
Oh,
one
just okay, my bad.
is a better comp.
Okay.
Jason Pierre-Paul. 10-finger Jason Pierre-Paul, not 7-finger Jason Pierre-Paul. That's good.
That's a good one. I like that. He wasn't even bad when he lost the finger. He was pretty good when he was in Tampa Bay for a little bit. But
I agree,
I can
but
see it for
the
sure.
jokes write themselves sometimes, right? Like,
Maybe
it was there.
they really do. Maybe not as athletic as JPP because he was very, very athletic on the edge. I don't know if I see that kind of athleticism from him, but I see with the size and the wingspan, maybe.
76 athleticism score at the NFL Combine. Bench press 225 23 times. Like, we know the dude's strong. Total score for edges, second best edge at the Combine. 12th best for athleticism score. So would agree with that. Overall prospect grade, though, 6.77, year 1 starter, which you want that guy to come out of pick 6 right onto the field.
Right. And honestly, I ain't gonna lie, True Teller, you got, I think, probably the best comp. I do see some Trey Flowers in that because Trey did have the ability to line up inside out, was definitely a power rusher more than a speed guy, added that versatility. I mean, if he would have added on some more pounds and maybe played and was able to stay healthy, he could have maybe did the same thing. But it obviously didn't fit with the Lions and with the money that they gave him. So we didn't get to see that. But for him, I can see that similarity for sure. That's not a bad one.
Quinn Trisha. Man, it keeps getting brought up. We thought we had washed our hands of it with the Okuda trade, and it keeps getting brought up.
Just somehow they just find a way to be seen and talked about on our show.
It's a curse,
Disgusting.
I tell you. Anyway, here's the deal. We have a deep dive to do on Tyree Wilson. So if you want to learn more about him and why he would fit with the Lions, and maybe are they settling for him, check out our show tomorrow at 5 p.m. We will talk about that. We will be back live with you again Thursday night at 9 o'clock, talking about our 4th prospect that we think the Lions should go after at number 6, if they make the pick at number 6.
We'll see. Go gutsy, like you say. We'll see.
We will see. Listen, this has been your favorite Detroit sports show, Beyond the Box, where we're trying to build a Detroit sports community. So make sure you are liking this video, sharing this video with everybody who has a pulse in Detroit and loves Detroit sports, because we love them as well and we want to share them with you. So make sure you do that. Make sure you've liked and subscribed to our YouTube channel and pounded that bell for notifications so you can get that little ring-a-ding-ding when our latest content drops. We will see you guys all Thursday night live at 9 o'clock, which will be 2 shows left before our live show on April 27th for the first round of the NFL draft, where the season begins again.
Yeah.
Until then, y'all be safe. Have a great rest of your night. For Eric Vincent, I'm AJ Reilly. Go Lions.